The number one cheat code to building more attraction in women. Guess what it is? It is your self-confidence. That's all it is. And a lot of you might be like, yo, that's so obvious. I knew that. I've been told that since I was a kid. Confidence is key. It's what women want, etc., etc. You might be thinking this. But even though you know this, you got to ask yourself, why have you not applied it? Why are you still struggling with women? And that is because you don't really understand what it means to be a confident man. One, you either don't understand it, or two, you haven't learned the steps needed to become it. In other words, you either don't understand the definition or you don't understand the path in getting it. Let's go into one, the definition. What it means to be a confident man in terms of attracting women, at least to be more specific, it means that you love yourself, that you approve of yourself, that you are okay and accepting, and not just okay and accepting, but you are thriving off just you and what you do. And you're not seeking approval from other people. This is really big. Because as a kid, you've grown up a certain way. And what happens to a lot of men in particular who struggle with women, what happens to these men is that they either get bullied, they get abused, they get abandoned, they go through really tough shit and traumatic experiences that cause you to start to develop these conditioned behaviors to seek the approval of other people. So if your dad left you when you were young, if you were bullied in school, if your mom was abusive or verbally or just emotional, or she was an emotional wreck. These are examples. If any of these things happened or anything similar, what happens is as a kid, you develop behaviors to cope with these circumstances. So because your dad left, you subconsciously believed he left because of you. And you had self-hatred. And because of this, you start to seek out the external for approval. You know, this is a really deep subject, and I actually wasn't sure how deep I was going to go into it, but I went kind of deep. It's the same thing with your mom. If you were a mama's boy and you always please your mom. And guys, this is the one that I resonate with the most, is I was a really big mama's boy growing up. I loved my mom. I would always go up to her and always talk to her and always be with her. And I was very needy as a kid. And I would see my dad be mean to her, and I would get mad at my dad for this. I would always blame him for certain things. I always looked at him as a negative figure. And as a result, I subconsciously trained myself to believe that men are not good. It was like a subconscious training. And that women, I held them on a pedestal and I viewed them as like, you know, perfect, divine, amazing beings that have only good in them. And it's actually a really interesting thing that happened. And because this stuff that I just told you in my journey, it made me become a nice guy with women. It made me seek the approval in women. If I sought the approval in my mom and that gave me love, then when I went to women and I started dating, that's exactly what I thought. I was like, yo, let me seek the approval. And by the way, this is all subconscious. It wasn't like a conscious thought. But let me seek the approval of women and then I will receive love. But here's the thing. Once you do that, you don't receive love. And that's the harsh truth. The world, women, you guys want to get better with women? Trust me, they're not going to be like your mom. Trust me. You being a nice guy, you seeking the approval, you trying to win over women from that position always leads to feelings of isolation, loneliness, and no one likes you. Women, men, people, no one like you. So that's what it means to not be confident, to be someone who seeks approval. What it means to be confident, it means you don't seek the approval. It means you are self-approved. Whatever it is you do. And this goes really deep. It goes really deep. It's not just about what you do with your dating life. It's about everything. Right now, I'm making a video. I'm talking to a camera. How many of you guys can confidently talk to a camera and be yourself on it? Out of 10 people, what? Maybe one dude? If that? And you might be like, okay, what's the big deal? The big deal is that you are in your head about the perception of other people. And this doesn't have to be talking to a camera. It could be about your Instagram stories. You're about to post a story, but you're like in your head, you're thinking, how would I be perceived by people if I posted this? That means you are not fully confident. Or it could be you're at the pool and you don't want to take your shirt off because you're fat. Or it could be you're in school, you're in college and you got to go and present, but you're nervous, your heart is racing because you're not confident in your communication and the way you look. Or you're talking to a girl at a bar, but you're getting so nervous and you're in your head about what to say because you feel inferior to her. And you're not confident in your conversation or your look or the way you dress or the way you express. It doesn't matter. That is what not being confident is and what being confident is. What is being confident? It's expressing yourself fully. It's not holding back. It's not being filtered. It's not thinking of what are people thinking of me. Instead, you just believe your own thoughts. Instead, you trust your own consciousness. You trust your own sense of what is right and what is wrong. And you go forward knowing humbly that you could be wrong. But hey, failure is how you learn. So you're fearless. That is being confident. Guys, that is the number one thing that will make you attractive to a woman. So say that joke, do the thing you love, post that video, talk to that girl at the bar that you think is too attractive for you. Chase the dream and passion you have for your job. Cut off people that you're afraid to cut off, but you know they're toxic for you. Do the things that the confident man will do, and then you will be confident. Which brings me to my second point, which is how do I get the confidence? It's what I just said. You do the things the confident man will do, and then you become confident. A lot of guys I work with, shameless plug, I am a dating coach, confidence coach, online self-development coach. A lot of guys I've worked with, they think they have to be confident to do the confident action. And this belief system is flawed and will get you nowhere in life. Let me give you a new belief system. And by the way, the reason it will get you nowhere is because, guys, do you think Michael Jordan was confident at playing basketball before he touched the ball? Do you think when he was in high school, he was confident in playing on an NBA championship game? Or do you think it took practice, hours and hours and hours and hours of practice and coaching and guidance and all this stuff to become the guy that ends up being on that picture, to become the GOAT, basically? Guys, this is everyone. Beethoven. Do you think he was confident in playing piano before he touched the piano? Obviously not. So this concept that you need to be confident to do the confident thing is flawed. It is incorrect. The belief system I want you to start to implement in your life is, in order for me to be confident, I must act and behave and do the things the confident man will do. And over time, my consciousness will create my subconsciousness, and then next thing you know, I will be doing, behaving, and acting as a confident man without thinking about it. It will be me at the deepest levels. It all starts with the first action. Sit down, close your eyes, ask yourself, what is something I'm afraid of? What is something I should be doing? What is something that will push myself socially, financially, spiritually, physically? How can I push myself? How can I start to get out of my comfort zone? And the biggest one is socially. It could be, here's some ideas: talking to strangers, talking to women, cold approaching women, going on that date, posting that video, having that talk with that family member, reaching out to a family member you haven't spoken with, connecting with male friends, going to a social event. Guys, social dancing. There's so many things, man. We live in this world where you can just push yourself and leave things on the table, and you are so blessed and lucky to have this opportunity. I always remember, something I always remind myself of is I was a guy who wasn't super confident, and now look at where I am. And it gives me happiness and it gives me fulfillment. And I'm telling you right now, there's no greater joy than being comfortable in your own skin. No greater joy. This is step one of life. You got to get this handled. And if you need help with that, you really want someone to keep you accountable, give you guidance, help you out, link is in my description, Working 101. That is all for this video, guys. Have a great day. Peace out.